Imagine you loaded into a brand new Minecraft survival world, ready to explore and discover the beauty of what lies ahead. Except only this time, you can't. Because this time you are stuck in the starting chunk you spawned in and have to use any and everything you can inside that chunk in order to survive. Can I complete the 3 goals that I have set for myself without water, little to no food, and especially very limited space, all in hardcore Minecraft with 1 life on the line? And I hope you guys enjoy the storytelling video of how I did just that. And as I spawned into our brand new, completely random world, we thankfully started with plenty of trees to work with. There were even some sheep right outside. I climbed my way to the highest point I could get to scope out the place. I saw a cow in the distance as well as a shipwreck, which unfortunately doesn't mean anything to me, given my predicament. But after scoping out the area, all there was left to do was set up the world border. I typed in the command to set it to my location, set it to a 15 by 15 chunk. I'll explain why it's not 16 by 16 in a second, but after that, in about 2 seconds, boom, there we go. The border has been created, and I am now stuck in a 16 by 16 square with no way out. Also, real quick, the reason why I set the border to 15 by 15 is because, as you can see, the border spawns in the middle of a block, in which the border allows you to break the block that it's on as well, which is the 16th block. It lines up perfectly all the way around. The challenge can now begin. And as I began, since beating the Ender Dragon will be impossible, I've set out myself 3 goals for this challenge. Goal number 1 is to find ourselves some diamonds, which is going to come down to a bit of luck. Goal number 2 is to craft ourselves a golden apple. And lastly, end the episode with a great place to live and feel right at home. I started the challenge by obviously getting a little bit of wood and venturing underground to get ourselves some cobblestone. Once back on the surface, I crafted some stone tools and went ahead and got to work. I then started to smelt some planks and wood and made some charcoal to then turn into torches. I lit up our chunk, and while I waited for those to grow, I continued our expedition into the underground. The second time around, I dug way farther down and got completely nothing. But on my way back to the top, where I was getting myself more torches, there was 1 sheep very close by. And if we could somehow get that sheep to hop into this chunk, it would mean we could actually pass time pretty fast by getting ourselves a bed. The sheep got closer and closer, but didn't seem to like me as it slowly trotted away. Back down in the mine, I stumbled across a small cave. Not thinking much of it, I hopped in, and that was almost the death of me. With it being so dark, I barely saw that skeleton, but luckily I made it out alive. I went back up to the surface and crafted myself a shield, and right after, I noticed something. The sheep had returned and was closer than ever to making its way inside. He ended up getting really close, and yes, he decided to walk in. Now, I was freaking out because I thought he could walk right out of the border, but what I didn't know is that once anything walks into the border, it is now stuck with me as well. So with that, I crafted some shears with the spare iron we had and got 3 wool in 1 shear, the perfect amount to get ourselves a bed. A very lucky start so far to this challenge. I headed back down into the little cave, and when trying to light the cave up, I almost got myself killed again. Thankfully, a zombie took a few shots for me, and it was a pretty easy cleanup from there. And from those skeletons, they happened to drop 3 bones for me, which was perfect because then I could turn that into bone meal. Bone meal are seeds, get ourselves some wheat, and then turn the wheat into bread, and then finally get some regeneration in me. Knowing that apples and bread would basically be my only food source, I chopped down every tree once again, broke all the leaves that I could reach, and placed down every sapling that was left to increase the chances of getting apples the next time they grew. Back in the mine, I decided to mine out a 3-block high section to make for a dark cave for mobs to spawn in, specifically skeletons, so we can get ourselves a lot of bone meal. That will in turn greatly improve our food production. The project had its ups and downs. Not really sure how this creeper was able to explode through the stairs. I almost died multiple times. It really did not go as planned whatsoever, but finally got through it and survived. But throughout all that chaos, we came out of it with a bunch of bone meal, in which now we can expand our wheat farm to a much better size. Our chunk was starting to come together quite nicely and was beginning to look like a nice place to stay. But we weren't finished yet, because it was now time to prepare for the mine. I crafted a good amount of stone picks and headed down. And I legit somehow, and I know it looks scripted, we actually actually ran into some iron. But then, a solid 30 seconds later, we had ran straight into some precious diamonds, which completes our first goal of this challenge, which is to obtain diamonds. All I happened to see was one diamond. I got a little nervous because the border was just to the right of me. I mined the first one, and there was thankfully one on the border, barely inside, that I could mine up. I dug around a bit more and luckily found myself 2 more diamonds. And then all there was left in the mine was to find ourselves 8 gold to complete our second goal. And this took me a long time. And in doing this, I decided to hold off on getting a diamond pick unless I found myself some more diamonds. And ever since the Caves and Cliffs update, gold likes to spawn in Deep Slate. And Deep Slate, just take a look at how long it takes to mine each block. Insanely slow. So you can imagine how long this would take. So after mining out the entire bottom of our chunk, I managed to find ourselves 8 gold, but 4 of that gold was unfortunately right outside the border. And this happened many times. It kind of got ridiculous, but luckily I found some diamonds soon after I mined out the entire bottom and finally crafted ourselves a diamond pickaxe and then continued to mine away. And throughout all of this, I ended up finding basically nothing. A little bit more diamonds, but somehow found 0 gold. So I decided to go up to Y-18 because I heard it's a great spot to find gold in, and the internet wasn't lying because a couple minutes later, after the hours of mining, we finally got ourselves the last 4 gold that we needed. I went to the crafting table, crafted that golden apple up, and we finally completed our second goal, which was to craft a golden apple. And then all there was left to do was to get our chunk looking nice and good, clean the area up, chop down all the trees, and make ourselves a nice looking home. And that's exactly what I did. Using all the wood that we just got, I went ahead and made ourselves a home that fit well in the border, made it look really nice, and something to feel right at home with. And with this home and everything cleaned up, that then goes ahead and checks off our third goal, which is to make a house and feel right at home. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the little adventure we had today. And if you really enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure to check out the other videos on the channel. I have a bunch of others like this one, but thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys take care.